everybody in now. Okay. Looks good. Okay. I'm going to call our meeting to order. Today is May 19th, 2020, and this is a business meeting of the North Kingstown School Committee. If I could ask everyone to please rise for the virtual Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Glassbach?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mrs. Hoskins?
Here.
Mrs. Hildebrand?
Here.
Mr. Mather?
Here.
Mrs. Shaw? Here. Student Representative Joe Venta?
Here.
And Student Representative Ann Etchells.
Thank you. And again, I'll just point out that pursuant to Executive Order number 20-25, which I know has been superseded by a new one, but I don't have that number handy, so we'll say as amended by the governor, this meeting is being conducted virtually due to the state of emergency and in the town of North Kingstown and state of Rhode Island. This is the first time we've done it this way. So the first item on our agenda is citizens' comments. Now, anyone who's never done this in Zoom before, there should be a button where you can raise your hand. And Mr. Jones, if you could remind me what it looks like on there and what box it's in, do you know? You're muted.
Well, you would go to participant and you'll see the button
participate. Right. So if there's anybody who would like to speak, if you could please push that button
or check the yes button, either or.
Yeah. And I'm not seeing anyone, but we'll give an extra minute just in case anybody's having trouble. Okay, I don't see anyone. If you suddenly figure it out, hit the button. I will keep an eye out for it, and we may pause and give it one more shot. Let me just check one last time. And I don't see anyone. Okay, so next item would be the superintendent's report. So Dr. O'Shea.
Thank you. And I have Dr. Morris here tonight. We want to use this occasion to announce to you and the community what our plans are for the 2020 graduation. As you all know, communities have been struggling with creating experiences that are somewhere close to a regular graduation. That's very difficult to do right now given the social distancing guidelines put together by the Department of Health. I just want you to know that I'm very excited about these plans. We have followed the Department of Health requirements for social distancing. Our plans for the class of 2020 have been organized by Dr. Morse, the North Kingstown High School leadership team and graduation committee. They've been supported by Town Manager Mollis, the North Kingstown Police Department and Fire Department. Our plan is informed by input from the students and parents and from guidance from Governor Raimondo's office, the Rhode Island Department of Health, and the Rhode Island Department of Education. It has been an enormous task, to say the least. I don't think I've ever worked so hard on just about anything in my life. Take in so many suggestions about and public safety requirements to find just the right solution to provide a meaningful and safe experience for our seniors, their families, and all involved. And that's the key, having something that is meaningful and, more importantly, something that is safe, given the time that we're living in. So I'm most appreciative of all of those who have helped us and to find what I feel is a very creative, comprehensive, and safe set of solutions. So I'm going to ask Dr. Morris to go over some of the highlights of the programming we have for this evening.
All right, so we had a series of events planned, starting with the Parade of Graduates, which we have planned for June 14th at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So that will go from there's North Kingstown High School to Davisville and Whitford Middle Schools. We have 3 different starting places to kind of spread out the crowd. It's kind of like a staggered start, just like in golf when you all start a different hole, and then you do the full course. That's what we're going to do with the cars, with our cooperation of our community partners and the police department, the fire department, the town manager. That will be followed by a virtual graduation ceremony that will be broadcast on June 14th at 7 p.m. And that's going to follow our regular program of ceremonies that we normally have with the speakers, the tassel change, music. Every point that we usually have in that ceremony will be included via video. And Mr. Thomas has been really hard at work getting people into the studio to film their pieces. So it's going to be a nice, professional, cohesive looking thing with the background of the studio and people wearing their caps and gowns and all the ceremonial kind of thing that we usually follow. One of the things the students said that was very important to them was and I think the thing they were most disappointed about was crossing the stage. So we have on June 13th, which is the day before we broadcast the ceremony, we're going to give the students an opportunity to cross the stage by appointment, and it won't be the auditorium stage. We're setting up a stage in the gymnasium, so that gives us the most space to spread out. It gives us the shortest path for efficiency getting students in and out. And the students will be able to come in with their cap and gown, with their parents, walk across the stage, and have their diploma cover that they can stand there and have a picture taken in a cap and gown. To allow the students to have their cap and gown and diploma cover, because we're not allowed to hand them anything on that day, we are having an event between June 3rd and 5th where students will come to the school by appointment. We have windows over those 3 days for them to come in. They're going to return to us Chromebooks and things that they owe, band uniforms, athletic uniforms, anything that textbooks needs to come back to us. And we're going to put into their trunk. They're going to open their trunk, and we're asking them to have the items in their trunk that we can open up and remove the items. That way we can let them sit in the cafeteria or something for a few days before our personnel have to unpack them. And then we'll put into the students' trunks their cap and gown, their diploma cover, any awards they're receiving, anything they need to collect at that time. So that'll give them a few days to get the wrinkles out of those caps and gowns, hang them up, make them look nice for when they have their picture taken on the stage. We also are asking our students to send in a video message to Aaron Thomas. The message will not exceed 10 seconds, and the kids can take them with their caps and gowns. Some girls were saying they wanted to wear their prom gowns for it. And just do a little video and send it in, and we're going to include that at the end of the formal ceremony that we broadcast on the 14th. And for the first and only time, North Kingstown High School students will be allowed to decorate their caps as long as the messages are appropriate and they want to send us pictures of those caps, all decorated maybe with plans that they have when they're going to school. Each North Kingstown High School graduate will receive a certificate for a free professional photographer with their lawn sign. So Mr. Molino has agreed to go out by appointment to graduates' houses and take a picture of the lawn signs that we ran around town and put on people's lawns last week. And if people didn't get on sign, some people didn't sign up, or they said they'd rather have a bumper sticker or something. We will give signs to Mr. Molino so that he can bring the sign with him, and the students can still have their picture taken with the sign, whether or not they want to keep it. And class day, it's traditional every year for the students to have a class day video and a get-together on their last day of school, and we're going to be broadcasting that ceremony, even though it won't be live in the auditorium. All the components again will be there and it will be broadcast. And that's going to be on a Google Drive. It will only be open to the graduates and the juniors. And the class is planning, they asked if we could keep their funds intact for the next year. All of the things that they normally would have done for the prom, the senior prom, graduation celebrations, class picnic, all of those things that they're not getting to do. They're going to plan a nice dinner dance for the graduates to come back to either over Christmas break or next summer, depending on venue availability and what the social distancing rules are in place. And we will invite all of the graduates of 2020 to come to the ceremony next year in 2021 and be recognized in the Ryan Center. So that about sums up everything we have planned.
Thank you, Dr. Morse. I don't know if anyone on the committee has any questions. Chuck, you're muted.
There I am. So I have two seniors, so I just want to say thank you for all this work. It's a lot of different components, and I think that's really what makes it special and different. And what's also nice about it is that people can be part of one part and not another and still feel like they were celebrated. So thank you so much, all of you guys, for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're really hoping on the parade day that people come out on their lawns and businesses decorate, and that the whole town comes out to show how much they are supporting and appreciating the graduates this year.
That communal event was an important theme that many people wanted. I just want to make a comment now so I don't get 1,000 emails tomorrow. A lot of people have suggested a drive-in venue event, and they've heard that other districts are trying to do something like that. In some cases they are, in many more cases they are not. And we have one of the largest graduating classes in the state, which would need a venue in the neighborhood of 500 cars for us to make that work. Not to mention the fact that those cars would be parked for several hours on a hot day, very close to one another. We feel that the parade is a much better option. It's a little faster. You don't have the social distancing requirements as much as you would, and you're not kind of stuck in that car for so long a time. And even then, those drive-ins, no one's getting out of those cars at all. So it's not like you necessarily have a normal graduation with that. So we just felt for safety concerns, not knowing to what extent people would want to get out of those cars and would start to do it, whether we let them or not. We felt that was enough of a safety problem for us that these options were a lot better. So in this case, there's a communal event involved, there's a photograph involved, there's walking the stage, which is so important to people, and their parents are going to be able to view that. That's also very important. So I think we have all of our bases covered. And Dr. Morse, again, I can't thank you enough. I know that you've been on the front line of all of this and taking so many suggestions and meeting with people over and over again, myself included. I think we're at a very good place, and I hope that people now enjoy this and enjoy celebrating our seniors with us, because that's what this is all about at this point.
Can I make just one more quick request, if it's possible, for the families in Jamestown that might want to view the parade? Can you guys perhaps suggest an appropriate place or organize an appropriate place where they can park their cars and be, since they might not have a home or be as familiar with the ins and outs of where the parade would go? And you don't need to come up with it now, but that's just a thought.
Well, one of the nice things about the parade being so long, it starts, it starts in 3 different places, but it extends from the high school to Davisville Middle, is that we don't have what's normally a parade in North Kingstown, just the Wickford area with everyone congesting in one place. So people can find, whether it's a parking lot along Post Road, and find a place in the sidewalk where they feel comfortably, apart from other people, or they can even view that from their car in that way. There's also School Street, where Davisville is. There's also Fairway Drive, Brown Street, West Main. So there's a lot of room in there to find, a place to park somewhere, and to, view the parade, but you're not on top of other people. So the police felt comfortable about that point. And they're going to be right there with us, leading these groups, keeping the procession very slow and safe. And we expect it to last about an hour. So if you're starting, say, at the Davisville Middle School parking lot, you're going to make the trip all the way to the high school and then trail all the way back to Davisville, and that's the whole parade, one big loop. And same thing, if you're starting at the high school, you're going to go all the way up to Davisville and come back to the high school. So the nice thing about it is that in most of the route, there'll be actual seniors going past each other up in north and south. So that'll be nice as well. I think that's it for now, Mr. Blasball. You're muted.
Right.
Thank you all for all your hard work. I know that has required an unbelievable amount of meetings with rules that change by the minute, and I recognize it. And to members of the public, we all know this is not ideal. We're trying to get the absolute best experience that we can, because we truly appreciate all the hard work the seniors did to get where they are. We want to celebrate their accomplishments and send them off as best as we can in our current environment. And I think you guys have come up with a great option that's going to do a lot of what we want to do, though obviously not everything that we want to do.
Thank you. So that word is going out tonight to seniors and their parents, and first thing tomorrow morning to the rest of the community.
Okay, thank you. So next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. We only have one item on it. I'm going to exempt it, which is item A1. And so I'll start by asking for a motion to approve item A1.
So moved.
I'll give that to Ms. Hoskins, and a second from Mr. Mather. Dr. Ajay, can you just do a little explanation? I'm going to talk a little after you, I think, as well. But...
Sure. So tonight on the agenda is 40 layoffs, and it is not a place where we would want to be at this point, but I want to explain to you why it is necessary right now. So as you know, our budget, our town allocation was approved a few weeks ago, but our state aid number is still not settled. And given the state of the economy, we do not know, and I don't think there's any one member of the General Assembly or even the governor who knows for sure where that number is going to land. So we need to be cognizant of bracing for any eventuality. This is an issue. The state of Rhode Island has a law that layoffs, to take any effect at all, have to be performed before June 1st. We, as a district and our Superintendent's Association, and even I know our partners here in NEA-NK, we're very interested in pushing that date back to July 1, and to avoid having to do this tonight. But that is not the case. The governor took a lot of opinions. I believe the AFT was pretty forceful in convincing her not to move this date. So it is what it is. So what we're waiting on now is a few more weeks, hopefully, when the General Assembly will tell us what kind of state aid that we have. If it comes in as projected to come in, we should be okay, and we could probably get rid of most, if not every one, of those layoffs. If it comes in, but we don't know what it's going to come in as. If it comes in as last year's number, we're going to have to figure out a way to make up $1.5 million, and it's hard to imagine that we can do that without some layoffs happening. So this is just to prepare us for every eventuality. It is not something that I am hoping to do or wish to do or want to do in any way, shape, or form. But it is a way to make sure that we are covering our bases here and ready for any economic eventuality that this state formula is going to bring to us.
Okay, thank you. I just want to add to that, it's just important because sometimes people misunderstand why some of these things happen. This is not at all as a result of the budget that the town council passed. We expect that we're going to be able to, budget accordingly once we have more numbers. It's just in the event that the state aid does not come in where we expect and we're unable to find that replacement funding from some other source, that's where we would have to dip into the reduction in staff that this would allow us to do. As Dr. Ajay said, the last thing, and I think I can speak for anybody on the school committee, wants to be doing is sending a letter like this to our teachers when they're working so hard and have done so much to get this distance learning together. We were really hoping that there would be an extension to the usual June 1st deadline this year due to the unique circumstances. And that didn't work out. And as a result, the fact is that we have to plan for our worst case scenario. And the only way to deal with the worst case scenario is to send these letters so that we have flexibility if the worst case happens, and hope that it does not, and that we're able to, send a rescission to, if not all, at least almost all, and then it would just be, we always have some tweaks to staffing here and there in any given year based on our enrollment and needs. So that's given year to year, but the exceptional number this year, we're hoping we don't have to work with. So, anyone have any questions or comments of anyone else? All right. If not, I have a motion and a second to approve item A1. So all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes unanimously. That is it for this portion of our agenda. We are going to do a recess into executive session. So at this point, I would, and that's going to mean for anyone watching at home that I'm going to boot everybody out. Because this portion of the meeting is going to be for job performance, which under Rhode Island general laws is a private portion of our meeting. So if I could get from a member of the school committee a motion to recess to executive session for the purposes of employee job performance pursuant to Rhode Island general law 42465A1. The individuals have been notified of this meeting, including their right to have any discussion held in open session.
So moved.
We have a motion for Mr. Mather.
Second.
Second from Mr. Jones. So all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. So let me do some Zoom housekeeping and then we will begin our executive session here.
He's going to shut you down now.